Thank you for tuning in
and listening to
Codecast.
The one and only podcast from the new IT school in Estonia.
News, founders, jokes, technologies
and good youth experience. We have got it all.
In this episode, the sound is a bit echoey and the video cuts a lot, but bear with us though. The content is fire.
Today we have a guest Karin Künnapas.
She will be talking with us about the piscine experience and what it feels like to start Jõhvi. Welcome to our codecast, episode 0. So we are on the 0 of codecast because we are programmers. And today we will start our first codecast. So what is it and why do we start it? Basically, I can start because I have my own idea of what I'm doing here and what I want to achieve, but maybe you have your own. So I thought about starting a codecast just for to let everybody outside of code know what we are doing inside, because most of the time people don't know what is happening on inside and they only see the codecast, the logo, and we should be in Jõhvi, but we are not. We are in Sillamäe, and what are those people doing there and why aren't they coming out of their caves? So it's a good thing to talk about.
Yeah, basically, Codecast is about school life, and we want to show we students. We already know what is happening here in Jõhvi. We know how a program looks and what's our activities, but main purpose of Codecast is to introduce our activities and our program to people who don't know anything about Codecast. Code Jõhvi. Maybe for those who are interested in Code Jõhvi and maybe they are thinking about coming here in the future. So Codecast is about to tell you, our listener, more about our life, and maybe this our episodes will help you to make a decision, come here or no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with both of you, because I think we're kind of living in our own bubble because we're in Jõhvi, so we know what's going on, who are the students, what is the program, and so on. But I've been going around talking about the school, and there are a lot of people who still don't know, and there's this kind of layer of mystery that I've heard that, there's new school without teachers, and somehow they learn the program. So I hope with the podcast we tell people more about the school, hopefully motivate everybody to come here by showing that it's open to anybody who's interested in coding, and also more about what the future holds for you guys if you graduate the program.
Every time when I visit my grandma, we have every time the same dialogue. Hey Mikkel, when are you going to school? I don't know, when I want. And then she asks, what? Why? You have some classes or something? No, we don't have. I go to school when I want. And every time she tells me that she can't understand how it works, but she truly believes that it should work then.
I've had the same conversation with my father when we started heading to school. He was like, how? So your teachers are coming in from abroad. I'm like, no, we don't have any teachers. But you have lectures. No, we don't have lectures. But how to teach? Well, there's a computer. And that's how it works.
True. That makes so much sense, actually, in our today's world, that we are doing projects and we're doing everything else besides, sitting in a lecture. But first, let's get back a bit into the beginning. So what is going to happen today? Today we will introduce the format. So the format might look a bit different each day. Today we'll try to talk as much as possible in English, but if it happens to be for some reason hard or needs to be done in some other language, we can go over to Estonian or Russian. And the same shall happen on the other podcasts when we have different visitors. So maybe one visitor is a bit better in Russian and another is a bit better in Estonian. So we can change that and then just add subtitles. And in the beginning, I guess we should start with the first things first. And it's the process of getting into the first piscine. So the first exercises that were online that everybody took. So I guess we can talk our own story, how we did them, and then you can talk maybe a bit background behind it, why was it chosen and how it was created, or something like this. So for me, in reality, I did not plan to come to Code Jõhvi. So I just wanted to look at the process. How do you take people in? And maybe if it's super cool, I could use it in my own company. And I didn't even plan to finish it, but I was like, it's only 2 tests. It's not that hard. The first test was the memory test, which was interesting because I'm not sure how much memory I used as much as my own eyes and the lightness of the boxes. And I was like, yeah, these boxes light up like this. And then I just used, it wasn't too easy, but it wasn't too hard. It was interesting, I kind of understood why it was there. And the next one was the logical exercise, where you had to actually understand what the blocks do, how to manipulate them, and you had like a row of blocks that worked and actually showed you how your code works, which was pretty interesting. I've done something like this in mobile apps when I was just trying to understand logic, and it worked. I guess it was interesting. For me myself, I would say that it wasn't like a thing I would do, because I've done a lot of technical interviews in my time, and it's way more interesting for me to get an actual exercise to solve, actual problem to solve, which there was problem as well. You had to solve like the moving of the man and from the beginning to the end, but like, I don't know, for me it didn't fit. How about you, Mikko?
Started, I think it was like a month and a half. After that, we already started with the recruitment of students. Then there came the piscine, the launch of school, and so on and so on. So I think that was a really good start. But yeah, so now I'm here in codecast. Super excited about this. I think I'm really looking forward to all the episodes that you guys are going to record.
Okay, so all of us got into Code Jõhvi.
Yes, we did.
Some of us as students, some of us as a staff member. Yeah, and so we made tests. We got in. And Simon, what was your piscine experience? Maybe I'll explain that the piscine is part of. No, it's not part. It is piscine is selection sprint.
Yes.
Where all the applicants come to Sillamäe, this time to Sillamäe.
The best applicants.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly, there's a question about that as well.
Okay. Yeah. The selection sprint is about the best applicants who come this time, who came in Sillamäe for the 3 whole weeks. And Simon, what we did 3 weeks straight in Sillamäe.
Yeah, we did a lot, but I have the question basically, how did the 600 get chosen? Was it like fully automatic, or was there some of yours, things as well?
This was purely based on the results of the test, to see like who were the top ones, and then we invited the 600s. But I wanted to add about the selection sprint or piscine, that it's basically meant as a test period, because again, like with the first initial 1.5 hour test, we saw like if people have commitment, if they really want to do this. But actually having to spend 3 weeks in Sillamäe in the Estonian summer, that's about like this big or this long, that really shows the commitment that if you want to come to school. So, and like if you're willing to spend the time here and spend like 10 hours a day in a classroom, that's like 24 degrees. So it's like, yeah, you really want the program,
I'm pretty sure you didn't plan that summer.
No, we didn't plan the heat wave.
The heat wave on the first sprint, like, I'm lucky we were on the second.
Yeah.
We're really lucky to be on the second because there was no heat waves or, server problems because of that. We did get lucky, but I've heard about the first sprint and it was crazy.
We were melting, but luckily in Sillamäe the sea is so close, so that made Sillamäe even nicer because like, okay, need a swim, 5 minutes, you're there.
Yeah, true. I want to ask about that first sprint experience as well, because we didn't get it, but you know about it a lot more. And it was about the first exam, the server problem. I heard so much about it. How did you resolve it, and how did people get in from the first sprint and second sprint? Because it's different, things to consider.
Basically, just a bit of background. Then we did the first sprint. The group was a bit smaller than the second sprint, luckily. So they were the guinea pigs of the guinea pigs. So we got to test out things. And how the sprint works is that daily you guys had tasks that you had to do for programming. Every Friday you had exams. And on the first week when we had exam, then our server decided that it doesn't want to give the exam for everybody. And it took us, I think, about like 10 or 15 minutes to figure out that it actually doesn't work, and it's because of the servers. But if people wanted to do it, they could still continue the exam, but we made a decision that we're not taking that into account for them. But we were also able to put the results of both of the sprints together, to put like a percentage-wise comparison, so that the results are comparable, and to find out the students who get to get in to the school. So both sprints had equal opportunities. I think this first one maybe had a bit more stress because of the first exam, and then a bit more like they calmed down a bit more because they didn't have to do the full exam.
Yeah, true. For me, as I already mentioned a bit, it wasn't actually stressful because I was kind of ready for that. Whenever I do something like this, when I was going, I wasn't like, I'll go there and maybe I don't finish. It was all about, if I'm already going, I'll give my maximum, because I always try to to give my all, because like if you half-ass it, then it's like, what could have been if I would like done more, but if I know that I've done it, I won't regret it. And when I went there, it wasn't that hard actually. It was, obviously I have some experience as well, and for me the exercises weren't that hard. Like in a couple of hours I was ready with like the main exercises. Then there were optional and bonus ones. And as background, the exercise is divided into 3. So there was like the main exercises that were mandatory that you had to do to get into the next day. Then there were optional exercises to get you going, and bonus exercises that were super hard and gave you a lot of XP. So, and it didn't take me that much time. But what was kind of stressful, I guess, was trying to help everybody. Not that I'm bad at helping or that I don't like helping, but when you have your own things to do, you want to do them, and it's hard, to help everybody because everybody has a different level. So you have to take that into accountability, and that's like a full-time job. And you go there, and it's like some of them have problems. Maybe they're, are stressed out because for them it is actually a stress. And I saw that stress. I actually saw that stress. I saw people packing and leaving on the first. I remember it was the second week Tuesday when there was 17 exercises, and people just packed up and went because it was 17 exercises. It's so much. But in reality, it was like copy-paste all them exercises, and it was done within an hour, for me at least. So it was a stress. It was a stress for some people, and they did leave. For me, I had experience, and it wasn't that much of a stress. I liked it really much. I liked the exercise. I liked when I get a project or an exercise and I can solve it. This is like, as a learning standing point, this is the perfect school for me, as from learning standing point. And I really liked that. So I didn't have any problems. What I really liked was extracurricular activities as well, that we could contribute to ourselves. It was like we were already building the school together, not being even into it. So it was interesting. So my experience is kind of like boring, bland, I guess.
No, piscine experience was really, really very cool. Same like Simon, my motivation before piscine was that if I'm going there I give my maximum. And the first day when we have piscine opening speech with all of the stuff in front of us, then I remember very clearly that speech has ended. Now go to the classrooms. Okay, let's go to the classrooms. What do we do now? Wait, it's confusing. Stop. What they didn't even told us that we have to do task, or they even didn't told us this intra page or something. What? But okay. First of all, every person in classroom was kinda. No one didn't know no one. Yeah. So everyone was a stranger. And first of all, it was a bit uncomfortable. you were not too eager to ask questions yet. So I remembered this intra page very well. So I logged in. I saw this first exercise. It was bash shell, and it was for me like kind of interesting. Wow, like programming starting from bash. Okay, starting from third day was Golang. Wow, a very interesting choice for me, because previously when I studied in the university, then basically most of institutions in Estonia, schools, they start programming from Python and then go to Java and then C, and first experience was like a bit horrible because everyone was confused. But then I saw Simon in the same class. Then I remembered that, okay, I've seen him somewhere in Narva. And
Same.
But maybe we talked before with him like maybe 2-3 sentences, and that's it.
We didn't actually. We had zero communication, which is interesting.
Yeah, and there I remember that
a familiar face.
Familiar face, and
feels like home.
Yes, and then I came by Simon and hi. Do you know the answer? And so mostly piscine was really cool. Simon said that wasn't stressful for him. For me, it was a bit stressful. Yes, exercises wasn't really mandatory. Exercises wasn't really difficult for me, but they were this quite difficult that you had at least to think through all the processes what you need to write now. And my goal for each day was to complete even bonus task. So made mandatory, complete our optional exercises and complete bonus task. In the end, I haven't made only 3 bonus tasks. All other exercises are done.
That's the reason why you're here.
Maybe.
I have a bit different story.
Yeah.
I didn't do basically any bonuses. I did only first, I think. It was the what was it? The detective.
Detective.
I really loved it. It was the only one I really loved. It was so cool. Like you actually had to use your knowledge and do some elaborate, logical quest. Mm-hmm. That was super cool.
Yeah, but also I remember the second week Tuesday, the 17 exercises, and that was the day where I understood that I'm exhausted, because Simon mentioned before that me and Simon were we helped a lot of different people, and during this Tuesday when I know that I have so much stuff to do, so much exercises. I want to do optional tasks and I want to complete bonus task too. But I had experience in this day where it took me 3 hours straight to explain and teach other students, and then I understood that I have to filter somehow these people or say no to other people because I have to do my stuff too. And it was quite cool and hard. It was hard.
I think this is where we different, because on Tuesdays I wasn't in piscine. I was doing here an object. I was doing a camp for children on robotics. So I had a whole day here, and then in the evening I started doing exercises, and I was like, damn, that's so good that I'm not there, because I would have to help so many people with that. And so that's why I had less stress, I guess.
Yeah.
But I like the change that they mentioned, that on the first day nobody was asking anything, but basically by the second week, there were too many people asking. So I think that's also a bit something that comes from our school system, that we're not used to asking for help, and this is something that the selection sprint puts you in a really uncomfortable situation, because of course if you have some background, then you might be able to figure it out, but most of the people didn't, so it's like you need to ask for help. And I remember seeing it in both sprints the first day, and actually even the second day, there are a lot of people who are like, okay, struggling somehow, but still not turning to people around them. So it takes a bit of time for everybody to warm up. And I think hearing your experience, I think both of you were actually quite lucky in terms of like stress and all that in the sprint. The sprint is meant to be hard. Because again, it's another test run for you guys, especially the first 2 days, because they can be really frustrating. And there were people who were leaving even like the halfway during the first day, the second day, but that's also the point of it, because the selection sprint is a filter to get the best students. And again, like to see how they go through the stress, the exercises, the exams, that you had exams every Friday. And the exams are also, I know that they're really frustrating, because how they work is that you need to do a task to get the next one. You can't skip through, again, something that we're used to in the school system, but not here. So there were multiple points of frustration, which were on purpose. So like, lucky you guys. Yeah. But just to see how people handle it, how they react to this, and like what is their reaction to stress, because you're tired, it's hot, you're away from home. Maybe you've been eating like the instant noodles for 2 weeks and so on. So there was a lot put together. But if you made it through, I think it made everybody stronger. It made really good friendships, because you were together in Sillamäe, so you had to spend time together. And I think also, at least what it seemed to me, that you guys learned a lot through that process. But again, as I said, like it's meant to be hard. And as you said that you didn't do like optional bonus ones, I think people also get a bit stuck in their head that you have the feeling that everybody else is doing so much better. Yeah. It's like at the selection sprint, you have to focus on your own results. Exactly. Do the best you can. That was something that I told you on the first day, but I'm pretty sure for most people it went from one year to the other. I was like, yeah, sure. But it's actually like, yeah, you are competing with yourself. If you do well enough, you will get in, because also like our plan was to take 200 in, but we saw some good results and we decided to increase the number, because again, we're not a traditional school, so we can do these kind of things. So if you put in the effort, if you really do as much as possible, it's still like there might be people who do better than you, there will be people who do worse than you still might get in. So I think that's a really big lesson from the selection sprint for the future years also. It's just like, come here, do your best, try to make friends, ask for help, and you will succeed, and you will study at Jõhvi.
Yeah, exactly. That's what one of the things that we wrote down as well, like a huge, it's do it for yourself. Mm-hmm. So when you go into sprint, and for the future generations that will go into sprint, do it for yourself. Don't do it for everybody else. And I even see, like, even right now when we are not in sprint anymore, but when we are actually doing, the coding, the 2 years, some people still are looking to others, how others are faring, and not looking into themselves, how they are doing or how they should be doing or what. And I guess it's hard because we are raised in that, society where you have to be the best, you have to do the better, and you actually have to, look, you see social media every day, you see that, somebody's on Crete, right? Somebody's in Spain, and you're like, I want to be there too, but I can't because I don't have money. Yeah. But in reality, maybe they don't even, that was maybe a lucky break, right? So social media blows it up so much, and everybody's used to it, that we're looking to others and always looking how Mihkel is doing, all right, or how Andres is doing or something. And it's not really what works. No. And
people are so used to rankings. Like also when we accepted you guys, there were quite a lot of people like asking, like, what is the ranking? Like where they step in? We're like, we're not gonna give this out publicly because you're in. That's the whole thing that matters. Now all of you guys are working towards the same goal. Your goal is to learn the program and get through this. And hopefully either make a company together or go and work for somebody together. Like this is now about building the community. It's not about the competition, because there is no competition.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand that, it's actually about doing the thing. And what I really liked, I heard this story about, 2 people that really wanted to get in, but, didn't get the results. And then they wrote to you. And they had to record the video. Can you talk about that a bit?
Yeah, basically, as I said, like our initial plan was to take 200. Then we saw the results, and I think what also made it different with other schools was that our team was here for the both selection sprint. So if you accept people to other schools where you maybe use like the exam results or something like that, you just see the results. and you see the names, but the names don't tell you anything. But we saw the names, and like, he was so nice. She was amazing. So like, okay, we need to increase the list. And yeah, we had 2 people who were super motivated. They were really close to that. Basically, I think they were just bottom of the line, but we had to draw the line somewhere. And yeah, they wrote to us, and they were super motivated, want to get in. We asked them to record us a video of why we should accept them. We discussed that with the founders, and we decided to give them a chance and see how it goes. So I think, again, people are still so used to this traditional school model that you go there, you get the grades, this is the box where everything is in, and like I need to follow all the rules and so on. But we're a new kind of school, so we don't have these kind of rules. Sorry. And also when it comes to everything, so you need to change the mindset a bit and give it a go and try it out, and maybe you succeed. So as these 2 did, and I think so far they're doing pretty well.
Okay, the same thing about traditional schools. When you get marks, where you get marks, during the sprint, I felt the motivation that you have a task, but you don't have any marks or whatever. You have you can get XP for it, experience points, but you don't have any marks. My motivation changed fully. My motivation was only that I have a task, I need to complete it, I have to give it 100%, and that's it. Mm-hmm. Motivation is very, very different.
Yeah,
from getting marks.
Because it was actually changed from an outer motivation to an inner motivation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was all about you and your XP, and everybody got the same XP, so there wasn't like a difference.
Yeah.
You couldn't go like, he got better or he did a better solution. Mm-hmm. No, there wasn't like that. It was all the same. Everybody was on the same level and had the same chances.
And again, and you didn't see the ranking of others.
Yeah.
So, you were competing with yourself. Of course, if you ask your friends, they would tell you. But officially, we will not publish it, and we'll never publish it, because that's not the goal of it. You need to put in the effort, you need to do the tasks, and then you will succeed.
Well, now that piscine is finally over, it took 6 weeks for you guys, 3 weeks for us guys, and there was a small pause between the piscine and the actual learning. For us, it was 3 weeks, I guess.
Yes,
and
3 weeks.
For the first, it was 6 weeks or something like that. It was a quite long time, and the people actually had, to get back into the groove. And as I have understood, not everyone still understands that the tempo we had in piscine is different about the tempo that we have now. Mm-hmm. So maybe you can add about something like that.
Yeah, I think, again, we come back to this, that in the piscine, although we didn't build it up as a competition, it might have felt a bit more that because the deadlines were super tight, you had the task every day. If you didn't do it on that day, you didn't get XP and so on. But now in the program, you have way longer the tasks, which means that you need to manage your own time, which can be really easy, but can be really hard. But yeah, I think the switch in the mindset, again, it takes a bit of time. That you're not in this full-on mode, that you actually have time for other stuff also. So during sprint time, you had to focus on the sprint, because it is hard, as we said. But nowadays it's you need to also do other stuff. But I think for some people that switch was quicker. I think for some people it will take longer time, and it's definitely something that we're working on and trying to figure out how to bring out people from that mindset. So if you guys remember the first week where we actually started with the full school program, we had a talk with Tav, who had done a similar school in 42 in Paris. Mm-hmm. And we did discuss that also, this sprint versus school mindset. And he also said that he noticed it there, and it takes a bit of time for people to switch it out and see that, you actually have 2 years now. It's not only 3 weeks like this anymore.
But in other hand, for me, this sprint mindset, it helps a little bit to move very fastly on. Mm-hmm. Maybe others with whom I'm talking, maybe when they know which exercise I'm doing now, maybe they're a bit frustrated because maybe they feel because of me, maybe they feel that they're a bit
behind?
Yeah, maybe they feel that they are a bit behind, but the main thing what I'd like to say here is that you never have to feel that you are behind, because everyone has their own tempo and their own study process, and it just takes time. We have time now.
Yeah, exactly.
Just for me, it was my choice to do other exercises very fast.
And this is also the goal of the school, that you can do stuff in your own tempo. Again, like if you would go to a more traditional school, you know, you have lectures where you have to go, you have exams. The exams are at the exact same point in time for everybody. It doesn't matter if you maybe have a job, if you have a family, if something happens, like you have to go there for that exam. If you don't do it, you fail. But here you are able to adjust a bit more to your schedule, and you have the time to go like fully deep into this. But again, as it is a different kind of system, it requires effort to understand it and get used to this. And I think as we move on, this is the first class, or the pioneers, as we have been saying, like no pressure as usual. But I think for the future classes, it will become easier because there's like classes in front of them who can explain it to them. But you guys are doing it now for the first time, so you have to learn, and then in the future you can tell it to others, like how to get through it and how to make this process their own so that it's enjoyable, it doesn't feel like a competition, and you still take the most out of it.
Yeah, obviously. And I guess the best thing to do is actually, you know, take part in extracurricular activities. You know, go out of the place that you're always in and actually, you know, talk to other people and, you know, get into the groups that we have. We have working groups. We have like 4 different working groups doing different stuff. And we are all trying to build the school together. We're not just trying to go through the school as we usually do. Like when you usually go to university, your goal is to get the paper, to go through the school, right? And the same is the high school. It's the same with different schools. But here, our goal is to actually build something sustainable that will keep, you know, the community growing, that will go on. And it's hard to understand, but I hope that everybody who's listening to podcasts and will be listening as well will understand in the end that we are doing that as an extracurricular activity. We're not getting paid for that, and as well as we want you to come and help us. So we can do so many stuff together, and it's just, you know, you have to come out and actually do it.
And it's a really good opportunity to get extra experience that, of course, we're focused on programming. That's what the school is for. But we also want to focus on the soft skills, because you need to learn how to work in a team. You need program management skills. Presenting is a really good skill. If you do marketing and so on. So there are options, some of them that we already have, some of them we still need to develop, that you will be as multiple-sided as possible, because that will make you an even more valuable team player in the future. It doesn't matter where you go to work or if you do your own company. And you might figure out that you find out really something really cool that you want to do. Maybe become like a podcast host. So
Exactly.
Yeah, or maybe you just want to take a part in weekly trainings every Tuesday at 1 o'clock.
Exactly. Very good point. As the next thing, we would like to ask you a question on the spiderweb that we are using, and the 3 main languages that we'll be learning throughout the next 18 months, and then the 6 months of the other thing. So it's Golang, it's JavaScript, and Rust. And it's really interesting to me because when I look at the languages and their rankings, well, obviously Python is always number 1, and in most of the rankings. Then there's Java, and then maybe there's C and JavaScript. But Rust is so far away, and it's like it's not really used, because we use different things. So why this? Like why? Maybe you know, maybe you don't, because it's a program that you bought in. But maybe you have an explanation.
Basically, what's one of the goals of the program is also it's not about the specific language, but it's more about learning the different languages. So again, that you understand how you learn to program, what is what are the main, I can't say functionalities, but basically what are the main blocks and how they fit together. So if you have a base of some language already, it should be easier for you to learn additional language for that one. I do not have the exact reason why Rust is there. But I know that, just to give a bit of background, so the first this kind of program was made in 2012 in France, And there's about 30 schools around the world who use either like 42 or 01. 01 is the one that we are using, that's a newer one. So basically from their experience, we know that these languages work, or like learning these languages works for the future. But anyway, like that's for the first 18 months, and the last 6 months you have these kind of specialization modules where you will also have like some C++ and some Python. But yeah, it's more about learning to learn and then understanding how programming works and then going on from there.
So it's actually just a tool that we use, to get to the learning part. Okay, well that answers my question really nicely.
I want to add here my friend's reaction when I sent him this spiderweb screenshot of spiderweb. Then his reaction was like, "Wow, how interesting languages! At least there are not these boring Python or Javas." So
yeah, I've heard a lot about starting to learn from Python, and it's it may be good as a syntaxes, but in reality you don't get actual programming as much as we would get from C or from Java or from Golang. Why not? So it's a bit, well, it's a good choice for school, because most of the people that work in the companies are fine with that. So it's quite good. But from 2012 to 2022 soon, it's been 10 years. So I hope next year some changes will come, because it's a thing that if we want to change something, we got to change ourselves as well.
Yeah, well, definitely the biggest change is that, as I said, like the 18 months is the base, and then there's the specialization modules. But we're working with our partners to add on to those specialization modules. That's a tricky word to say, because we have like different like startups, but also more traditional companies onboarded as our partners, whose main goal is actually to hire you guys, because as we know, there's like a huge problem with the lack of software engineers in Estonia. And with some of them who are like key partners, the goal is that we want to develop the special modules that will focus on the business field that they're in, let's say like if we talk about fintech, but also like the programming languages that they use. So they will be up to like 6 months, some of them will be shorter, some will be longer, but those will focus on how these companies work and what language they use. So by that time, you should have the basis of how to learn to program, and so you can like go more deeply into what they exactly want, and then from there step into their companies and have an amazing career there afterwards.
So let's talk about our experiences as well. So it's kind of the last thing that we talk about, but it's overall experience as the first month is over. It's really over. It's been a month.
On one hand, it feels like such a short time period. Another, it's like, wow, it's like it's been a long month in a good way.
Yeah, for some, that's definitely a long month. Like it will feel so long, but in reality, the time will go faster. Obviously, the time always speeds up, and then everybody gets into the groove, and then it's 2 years already. It's already done. There's nothing to do anymore, and you have to leave. And I think there's a couple of questions that most people might ask in this, the month that's been. And I think one of them is the question of motivation, because we have a lot of people from remote studies as well. And not only, but some people that are studying full-time have also motivation issues, maybe questions. And I don't know, Mihkel, what do you think? How to keep up the motivation? How do you do that?
How I do? For me, the most important part for the motivation is to have a good sleeping mode or sleep regime. Yeah, because if I sleep well, then waking up in the morning, I'm always ready to conquer this world, or whatever else. So, and on the other hand, if I'm going to sleep very very late, and my dream was horrible, I woke up very very late, for example during lunchtime at 12 o'clock or 2 or whatever, then my whole day is very bad, because I didn't have morning. My breakfast starts from lunch, and my daytime is more it's more shorter than as usual. So I think that sleeping well, going to sleep in the right time, waking up in the right time in the morning, it's very, very important.
And having the same schedule all the time.
Yes, and having the same sleeping schedule all the time, it's very important. Yeah, of course, there are some exceptions. For example, once I had an audit at 2 a.m. and we made a call, and I got audited, or I audited someone, I don't remember, but yeah, it was too late. So yeah, sleeping mode for me.
Yeah. I think it's really important to that you find your own patterns when it comes to sleeping. I know that for some people actually working at night works, and like if you wake them up at 8 o'clock in the morning, they will not be happy and not talk to you with for the whole day. But then when it comes like 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. in the evening, they're super productive, their brain is working and so on. So that's the reason I think, again, like this self-paced one is the time where you can find your own time schedule. But what I want to say about motivation, I think the key thing is that for everybody to understand that you are doing this for yourself. So you are not learning for your father, you're not learning for your mother, for a girlfriend, boyfriend, your dog, cat, whatnot. You're doing this for yourself. And if you actually don't go through the program and actually don't learn it, like you don't have the skills. But the program is built up that is really practical, so you don't have the lectures where you just listen to the theoretical part, you actually have the code. And that's how you learn. Like if you don't do the exercises, you don't learn. And you are doing this for yourself, you are doing this for your future, whatever you want to do in the future. If you want to go and work somewhere, if you want to be a software engineer, if you want to be a designer, there's such a huge such a huge number of options in front of you, but yeah, you just have to do it for yourself.
Also, what I'd like to add is very simple sentence that communications is a key. So at the moment we have we had only first exercise, Go Reloaded, where we had to work alone. It was like a one-man project, but all other projects are in teams. So the other important thing about the motivation is always to be in touch with your team. For example, my teammate, when we work together, we are letting each other know that when we are not available, when we are not working or whatever, that means to me, I always know that okay, we will do something later, or we can do something now. There are some cases when, for example, the whole team are motivated. Then the next step is to talk with other teams, to other people, to I don't know, school stuff or whatever. They have to talk with others.
Yeah. So we kind of get to the point of it's your own responsibility for your own self. So it's actually, yeah, we don't do that for Karin. She can manage for herself, obviously, and we do it for ourselves. We have to have, the smaller, tasks, smaller habits. You have to create yourself some habits that are productive or keep you alive. It's with the sleep. It's always funny because when I get into the project, when I really get into the project, I don't care for sleep. I have to get it done. I have to get it done. It might take me until 5 a.m., 10 a.m. Obviously, the next day is dead. Like, there's no next day, obviously, but the project is done. So that's fine. Sometimes it works, but most of the time it doesn't work. Most of the time it's a bad decision to keep yourself up after like some time. So you have to have those small habits and responsibility to take care of yourself. So it definitely can help with the motivation because you feel good. You feel good all the time, and you do the tasks, and you have it. You have the habits, you have the responsibility, and you're taking your own time to do that. So, which is really great.
And also to keep up the motivation, I think it's also super important, as I mentioned before, to take part in the extracurricular things. So if there's like a training at 1 p.m. every Tuesday, there's bachata lessons, or if there's somebody coming to talk to you guys or having a panel, definitely like you can take that 1 hour and step away from it, because like your brain will relax, you will go back, you will have more motivation again because you're not tired and you're not frustrated if you maybe were beforehand because things didn't work as you wanted them to, but you have a bit of fresh perspective. So again, like I think to keep up the motivation to work on the program, you need to step away from the program from time to time.
You have to take breaks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, breaks.
Exactly. The breaks, it's so important to actually take breaks, because you can't go on when your brain is exhausted. Every 25 minutes you have to make a small restart. And when you're stuck, it's obviously a time for a rest, because when you're stuck you have to come out of it. You have to you'll keep on thinking about it obviously, but you won't be trying rageously type in something and it's not working. I think one of the questions right now, so it's been a month. It's actually feels like a long time, and soon it'll be New Year's, and when there's New Year's there's JavaScript, so we have to get done with the exercises. But some of them maybe haven't even started, some of them maybe are still doing the first one, and some of them maybe are stuck on the second one. So a lot of people feel left behind. A lot of people feel maybe that they can't find a team, or just they feel that they shouldn't start anymore because it's already done. And I think here we could add some words about that as well, because it's not like that. Obviously, it's still a beginning. You can still do it. You can still catch up to everybody else, but you shouldn't look at everybody else. You should do your own thing. You should try to get done or just get through. And obviously communication. Ask others. If you're stuck, there must be a reason why you're stuck. You need tutoring, you need mentoring. Maybe someone is ready to help you.
Exactly. Like again, just repeat here, like don't compare yourself with others. Maybe we need to paint that on the school wall or something like that, but I think that should be like the mantra, that don't compare yourself to others. Like do your best, and that's how you'll get through it. And I really like that you mentioned the communication. Is like if you're stuck, ask for help. People are friendly. People actually like each other, and
people like to help.
Yeah, people like to help, because I think it's again like a good option for you to see if you understood yourself. Like if you're able to explain something to somebody else, that's like, aha, I know it now. Because otherwise, like, okay, I did it. Do I know it? Okay, if you're able to explain to somebody else, like then you really got it. So definitely, ask for help. But I think second one also, provide help. Like if you have extra time, we are using Discord as communication channels, so everybody's there. So if you have extra time, you're done with a task. I've seen it, a few people doing it. Definitely, we need to encourage people to do it more. But just right there, okay, I'm done with this. Does anybody need help? Because some people are still a bit shy. But again, that comes from our upbringing, that comes from our school system, that we are not used to talking out loud. We are not used to asking for help. We're used that we get the task, we write the thingy, we give it to the teacher, maybe not even talk to the teacher, get the grade back, and that's it. We're not that okay, but what does it mean? Or discussion and this kind of thing. And this is definitely something, I think that it's becoming better and better in the education system, but there's still a long way to go. And it is uncomfortable. Talking to people you don't know can be really hard. But of course, if you're extrovert, then not. But for introverts, I think it's it's a really big strain on this kind of social battery. But you need to do it from time to time, because then you will get through. And just stop comparing yourself with others and stop assuming that everybody else is doing so much better and so on. It's not true. And for me, it's just I don't know how to make it even more clear. It's just do your best, and this is what will get you through. But hopefully people will listen to this, and then that will get stuck in their head a bit.
It's one interesting issue that we're actually tackling here, and it's Eastern European issue. It's no good deed will be left unpunished. It's bad, because in reality, when you offer help, we're afraid to offer help, because maybe the person will answer something along the lines that, no, I don't need any help, right? Toxic masculinity, or maybe something else, just pride. Some people take pride in, I want to do it myself. And you just have to, throw it out. Throw it out in the universe, which is in our case a Discord server. And Discord server might answer you and ask for help, actually.
Yeah.
So it's a thing that we should tackle and, change in society as well.
Yeah, I think this kind of giving back mentality definitely, hopefully, become bigger, because this is something that I've seen in the startup ecosystem a lot. Well, because how the school started was that 8 entrepreneurs wanted to give back to Estonia. They have done something really big things, but they saw that there was an issue, that there are not enough software developers, and how they tackled it, they found the Jõhvi. So it is giving back to the society and helping others through that. And this is something that we can also do in the school community. So like, if you feel that you're really good at something, you want to explain to others. If you feel you're maybe not that good, but you still want to discuss with others, just offer for the help. Nobody will bite your head off. People are friendly. And maybe they will even give you like chocolate or ice cream in the end. So it's a win-win.
Last week we had panel discussion, and Marko said one thing. I feel the same thing. I feel the same. Marko said that they have meetups in Tallinn, and he understood that he likes teaching others, because when he have to explain, usually when you code, you just run some, you just know in your mind what are you doing, but you never explain to yourself what are you doing. And now, if I have to, for example, teach Simon something, I have to explain him with full sentences, with all words, and during the explanation, I learn myself too. So that was the thing that Marko said, and I feel the same way. And maybe, yes, and what I added during panel discussion, that people sometimes they don't want to ask others for any help or questions, because they feel that they don't want to bother somebody. But now, if you come back to this Marko's words, then change your mind. I will ask Karin for help. She will teach me. She will learn herself too, and everyone gets profit.
And even if you're afraid to offer help because maybe you don't know all the answers, that's also completely okay, because you are here to learn. And I think if you offer help, and somebody asks you questions that you don't know the answer to, it's a really good learning lessons, because you figured out something that you didn't know, so that you can fix it and you can fix it together. Because again, people are friendly.
Yeah, and there's one golden rule. If you're actually bothering someone, they'll tell you.
Yeah.
So
there's like the headphones on.
Exactly. It's not about, you shouldn't go into the conversation with, oh, I'm already gonna get a no. No, you should go into the conversation with a question. What will I get out? And if you get a yes, it's great. If you get a no, it's fine. Go to another place.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I think one thing that we all forgot to mention is a lot of people need to actually learn to ask questions. To ask questions, to ask Google questions, because Google is really good at answering them if you know how to ask a question. And it's a thing that we should, as a soft skill, maybe even teach more, because actually asking good questions is a good skill. Because I'm no master in fixing cars or doing something, but when I'm asked, I always can ask Google and forums, and I'm fairly certain I can do it because I've done it already. So it's just about asking the correct questions and going for it, not stopping, and just actually trying and actually doing and actually trying until you're exhausted, and then taking a break and trying again. So that's all it is about. We have planned a lot of different things that we could put into here, but I think we'll do them next time, because actually this one was super fruitful with a lot of conversation, and I hope the next ones will be as well, because there will be a lot of cool people we can ask to come and maybe even go there. So we'll see about that. And I'm actually really happy that I can be part of that. So I myself, I'm on a first task, and I haven't had too much time. So if you feel like you're on a first task and you're failing, don't, because I don't feel like it, so it's fine. And we can do all the things together. And it's okay. It's okay to have a slow start, because sometimes it is a slow start. Sometimes you have to get into it. Sometimes it is hard. Sometimes you don't know what to do at all. And, just start doing. And I think that we'll be all super happy when the 2 years are over, and we won't want to leave each other's side. And I've already fell in love with Mikkel here, and which is actually funny, because he talked about how it was a familiar face. It actually was a familiar face, because we were in Narva College when the first year. He came to that college as well and left again. And I really remember like, there was so many people, like 30 people got into or something like that.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember seeing a couple of, quite Estonian faces, and, Mikkel's was one. And the only thing I remember was his sweater. Like, I a bit remembered his face, but not. And then I was like sitting on the first day, and I was like, where do I know this guy from? Like, this sweater is so familiar. Like, he didn't have the sweater, obviously, but and then I actually asked you, where do I know you from?
Yeah.
So this is the thing you have to do. You have to actually ask. If I didn't ask, we would be strangers by now, most probably, and would never do a podcast together.
Yeah. Also, during piscine, I met here my co-student from University of Tartu. The same thing like with us. We never talk with her. We only have seen each other's faces. And our first hello was there during piscine. Hi, where we have met before.
So yeah, there's people that have met but haven't talked to each other, and it's fine because we are now talking, and we'll definitely be talking with other people as well. So if you are afraid to go to others, you can first come to us and to Karin and to all this stuff and start talking from there. And if you will be bothering us, we'll be telling you that. So I think what will happen to Codecast is the next question. Like, will it continue?
No.
What a hard sigh. What was that deep sigh?
I think that we will continue. We don't know yet who will be our next guest, but we'll decide it soon. And also, I don't know yet when next episode reveals. Also, we don't know when this episode come out, but I think that we should try.
So what I think I want to throw out there is we're going to need people that can transpose future episodes, because we're doing with the video, and I hope we can keep doing it with the videos. We will need subtitles in different languages, so we will have to throw that out as well. And we'll definitely need people who want to come and help us. Just marketing, the technology. Everything I've set up here today is set up by me, and I want help with that. So in the future, and if everything goes well, maybe we'll have the whole technology in Sillamäe. So we won't have to go too far with that, and we'll have maybe rent a staff room for that.
or in the future, in our fabulous new Jõhvi building in Jõhvi, maybe
we'll have a room.
We will have podcast room there.
Yes, without echoes, with actual, the sound things, and yeah. So yeah, I guess let's wrap it up then. Karin, obviously, thank you for allowing all of that first, because it goes through you, and for coming here and actually having the talk with us. And this is the thing that you actually do really well, as if I could compare you with the government or some businesses. This is what people should do in lead. They should always communicate. They should always come and help and do those things, and this is what you do. And this is what I like about Jõhvi. There's always communication. Communication is the key, and it will always stay a key. And I really thank you for that, and for being here and for all that podcast stuff.
In the end, I'd like to add here one simple, stupid joke about programming languages. So I have a question for you. Why Python developers need glasses? Because they don't see sharp.
That's good. Yeah, I've heard it, but I always forget. That's great.
I start thinking about snakes and stuff.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
a great
Yeah.
thing.
But I also want to say, like, thank you guys for actually having the codecast. We really appreciate that. And I think in terms of the school, we are building this together. There's still a lot of work to be done, but I hope that we're off to a really great start, and it's only upwards from here. And I'm really looking forward to listening to all the rest of the episodes and see what this comes into.
Let's see it.
Yeah, when something big will happen, we'll definitely invite you again. But yeah, thank you, I guess.
Yes, thank you all.
Thank you
all
guys.
for listening. Yes.